Good morning. My name is Kathy Newman. I am the Economic Development Manager at the St. Johns County Chamber of Commerce. This morning, we are pleased to bring you the Chamber's first virtual panel discussion, Adapting Your Business to Move Forward Through Crisis. Today's discussion is sponsored by the Chamber's Tourism and Hospitality Council. We would just like to let you know that throughout today's discussion, there will be a few poll questions that will be populated on your screen. The questions are anonymously answered, so if you would participate just to let us know how your business is doing in these particular issues, we would appreciate it. At this time, I would like to invite our moderator, William McBroom, to introduce our panelists and begin the discussion. William is the Director of Conference Sales at the St. Augustine, Ponte Vedra, and the Beaches Visitor and Convention Bureau.
Welcome. We're so very glad you have joined us for this interactive discussion. We've assembled a panel of St. Johns County Chamber members who are business owners and leaders who have led their businesses through the coronavirus crisis by adapting and responding in unique ways. Their creativity and entrepreneurial spirit is amazing and really provides some positives here in this challenging climate. We've asked the panelists to share their stories and experiences, as well as offer any tips or advice to start the conversation of recovery. I am pleased to introduce our panelists. This morning, we are joined by Philip McDaniel, CEO and co-founder of the St. Augustine Distillery Company. Anna Washington, welcome, Philip. Anna Washington, Director of Sales and Marketing at the Hilton Garden Inn, Ponte Vedra Beach, welcome. Derek Prince, owner of the Bogey Grill in Ponte Vedra Beach.
Good morning.
Morning. And Karina Coriel, owner, Troska and Company, Ponte Vedra Beach.
Good morning.
Thank you, Philip, Anna, Derek, and Karina for being here with us today and sharing your stories, advice, and experiences. I have four questions, topics for each of you to open things up, but we'd love for you to expand and share your stories. Each of the panelists will have a chance to share your thoughts on each question. Number one, what adaptations have you made in your business in response to the COVID-19 crisis? And let's start with Anna, please.
Good morning. The Hilton Garden Inn's main goal is to provide a safe haven for guests and for locals. So we have done that by offering or providing daily wellness calls to our guests to make sure that they're all right. We've added personal shopping to area restaurants, to the grocery store. We can pick up your medication if approved from CVS. We've added all-day room service for food and beverage, so you can actually be in your room. You don't have to come out. We can bring you breakfast, lunch, dinner, and actually even an evening toddy if you'd like. We're providing additional amenities and towels and things like that, limiting that direct housekeeping contact until after the 5th day. If you're there with us that long. For anyone that actually checks out, that room will be put out of order for 3 days. So that if there is any virus in the room, that room will be out of order for 3 days before our staff goes in to clean. We're encouraging our guests to actually schedule personal gym time and pool time if they like, and then we're stringently cleaning prior and after they leave. As you know, we've offered some day use office suites at $49 so that people that might be struggling with barking dogs, the kids running around, can come to our hotel and work for the day and hopefully get a lot done. They can also order room service. We can bring that up to them so they don't even have to leave the room. Another thing with our housekeeping, we have actually just won the AAA Inspector's Best of Housekeeping Award for 2020, which I thought was quite ironic, especially during this time frame. We're thoroughly disinfecting all of our public areas. So if we are starting with the lobby on one end, we're working our way stringently cleaning throughout the public areas, and then we're starting all over again. We're doing that 24/7. We're also participating in the Hilton American Express partnership to donate 1 million room nights to the frontline medical professionals responding to the COVID-19. And I'm sure we're one of thousands of hotels that are doing that. And then from a restaurant perspective, we also have a restaurant as well. We have added our curbside pickup for meals and for alcohol. We've added some family style meals to make it easier for folks to eat healthy. We've got some vegetarian, some gluten-free options as well. We've added some kid meals so that it'll be a little bit easier for you to be able to pick up kid meals for the week, as well as some a la carte items like some vegetables and some eggs, sandwich meat, and things like that. So that hopefully that would save a trip to the grocery store. That's pretty much the main changes that we've done at the moment from a hotel and a restaurant perspective.
That's great, Anna. Thank you. It should make guests feel comfortable in this
Absolutely.
time. Derek, how about you? Adaptations to your business?
Through this entire process, I've kind of just let my staff know we just got to figure out how to be flexible. There had been so many changes and they so rapidly happened, and from day to day, from hour to hour, in the very beginning. So we were just trying to adapt to function and keep as many people as we could, and then provide food to the community, and which we are doing curbside pickup with, as Anna mentioned earlier, doing alcohol, food, different, big wing orders. You can call in or you can go through our delivery services, which we use Delivery Dudes, and we're actually getting ready to add 2 more delivery services today. So we, for folks that are quarantining themselves at the home and do not want to get out and about, they have the ability to pick up bogeys that way as well. So that's kind of what we've done so far. And then we're using the daytime a lot to take care of a lot of stuff that typically in a restaurant you don't have time to do. A lot of renovations and upkeep and painting and stuff like that. Just trying to keep the staff that I have kept on busy. That's the biggest thing, I think, is just giving somebody something to do during this difficult time. Just keeping them moving. So.
Well, keeping everyone employed is a great thing, obviously. So, not always easy to do, I know. Karina, how about on your end?
Good morning, everybody. So, as Derek said, it's a day-to-day thing here at Truscott Co. Eatery as well, because there's no day the same. In the beginning, we had to change our whole restaurant model from, guests coming in to us bringing the food to the guests. And so, you are adapting to the hours. So I guess the first thing that I did was adapt the hours of the restaurant. So, and really focus on our team, because I had to make sure that they were completely, kept all their hours, as much hours as we could. We had a meeting, and some team members that could afford to not work as many hours gave their hours to others. So I think the team is the key first. And then the second thing is we already had a grab and go business, but what we have found that the biggest success for us has been, taking it to them in their neighborhoods. So we have set up different times and neighborhood delivery specific to, the day of the week. So for instance, like yesterday, we were in Coastal Oaks and focusing on delivering food to them with our grab and go and our full menu. And that's been successful with a lot of, of course, hurdles on how to implement it, fully and successfully when you're taking food out your door.
Right. It's a different experience for sure. So, all right, Philip, I know you're working on your camera. If you're good to go. So what adaptations? I know you have a big one.
Yeah, so thanks everybody and good morning. It's really an honor to be on the call, and thanks to the Chamber, Kathy and William and everybody for putting this together. It has been for us, as it has, I'm sure, for everybody who's listening in and participating, it's been just, it's hard to believe how business was operating, even 5 and 6 weeks ago versus what we're doing today. trying to think about the ways to to sort of convey the adaptation. But, you know, on a practical standpoint, you know, we closed our tours, which is our, you know, main source of business and revenue. Obviously, we couldn't have people standing, you know, less than 6 feet. And about a month ago, we closed our tours to the public. I guess the good news is because spirits and alcohol were on the list of essential items, we were able to keep our gift shop open. So we had to completely readapt that. We put up a giant plastic wall, you know, a plexiglass screen between the cashier checkout and the public. We marked, you know, the 6 foot, you know, spaces so people didn't get any closer than that. All of our staff are wearing masks and, you know, gloves and all that. But I think the most significant thing that we've been able to do is because the FDA and the federal government recognized that hand sanitizers were in huge shortage. We've been very fortunate to be able to pivot our manufacturing from making alcohol. The ethanol that we would normally use to make things like vodka and gin are now being used to make hand sanitizer in our facility. So we're producing thousands of gallons every week. And in many cases, we're donating those to first responders here in St. Johns County. So Sheriff's Department, City of St. Augustine, the beach, first responders, EMTs, hospice. We donated thousands of bottles to our local community. And to help support the cost of that, we have been selling it at a very reasonable cost to local businesses. And today we're actually launching our first campaign to consumers where we can actually now ship it to them, to their homes directly. So they won't even have to come into the gift shop. So we're very excited about that. But you know, we've really, you know, kind of pivoted everything that we're doing, you know, to try and keep our employees hired, which has been a challenge, obviously. But we are, for anybody listening out there who's got an ear to the governor, one of the things we're hoping to do, unlike many of the, you know, restaurants and you know, food establishments who can sell and deliver curbside, and distilleries are restricted from that. And so we're putting out a campaign to the governor to ask him to help us help the community, because if we can keep our doors open and keep making hand sanitizers, then we can you know, stay in business and help those first responders. And it would be wonderful if we had the same right and privilege to be able to ship our spirits, which currently we don't. So anyway, so that's kind of what we're working on here. It's been quite a transformation, but you know, that's we adapt and we move on. So but that's where we're at right now.
Very impressive. A great story, Philip. And I'll go back to you for the next question, if I may. What are your tips or advice for fellow businesses to survive the crisis?
You know, the first thing I would suggest is, you know, do everything you can to kind of preserve your cash, because that's going to be the thing that's going to help you get through, you know, cut your expenses. We've talked to all of our vendors, whether it's, you know, our legal counsel that we use every month, or, you know, our bottle suppliers or cork suppliers or landlords, tenants, all of that, and just say, hey, can we somehow find a way to defer? Can we pay half now and half over the next 6 months, whatever? Watch your cash. The other thing I would do is have, as best you can, do a really good job, you know, through your social media channels to stay in touch with your customer base, because, you know, they're all home. They're all a little scared. They're kind of waiting to see how this thing comes out. And I think those businesses that are able to stay in touch with those customers and reassure them that you're still here, that your business is still here, that you're thinking about them, it's a very powerful tool to retain, you know, business in the future. It's also the right thing to do. The other thing is take the best care of your employees as you can. We had to furlough about 60% of our staff, which was an extraordinarily painful thing, because if you don't do tours, there's just no way to, you know, staff up for tour guides. And so we've done everything that we can to help them, you know, in their quest to file for unemployment, and at the same time, just, you know, maintain dialogues with them every week. And, you know, we're doing virtual chats and seeing how everybody's doing. So those would be the 3 things I would suggest.
Thank you very much. Great tips. Karina, how about you?
So the wonderful thing in regards to our business is it's a little bit smaller footprint. So, you know, to make a change from a huge restaurant to a small restaurant in regards to everyday changes has been a little bit easier. We have not had to let go of anybody, just kind of based on what we talked about before. We just talked to all our team members and found out who could give up hours, who didn't need the paycheck because they lived at home with parents, so on and so forth. So, because I think that'll lead kind of into the next question is how do we kind of get back out of this? Then we have to hire people again. So we're trying not to do that. You know, I have cut every last bit of expenses that I could cut, everything. And it has been, everybody is understanding, everybody. I want to make sure that they know that when we come back, that we will be back in business with them. But if, you know, every little penny helps. And, you know, I'm always the type of person that I always have to look on the bright side of everything. So I know that we'll learn from this. I guess that's what I would give advice about is I am learning so much right now of how I can make my business better. And I am going to, there's things coming out of this that, you know, even for how to manage my hours and really what we should be focusing on. And so I would say instead of worrying so much about, you know, the things that we all worry about daily is really try to focus on how we can make it better when we're out of this situation.
Some great lessons there that should help down the road. So that's really good to hear. Derek, how about you over at Bogies?
Well, when it first happened, we're going to have to make some changes because we have a larger footprint, unfortunately, and have a big bar business. And I mean, we seat about 185 people. So we did have to make some changes. What Karina did, I mean, I went to my host and the staff that is typically, you know, mostly the high school students and stuff and people that had a place to live. And those are the ones we went to first and saying that, you know, we're going to, you know, lay you off for a little while. You know, we communicated with all of our staff. We did have to cut our staff down to about 10 essential people. So about 60% of our staff. I am hoping to get good news here today with the PPP plan. I know I'm getting ready to be funded, supposedly. And if I do, anybody who has not received their unemployment stuff yet, I'm going to bring back everybody. So that's what I'm hopeful for. And then also expand our hours if we're able to do that as well. You know, hoping for the best. But in the beginning, you know, sitting down with every purveyor, just, you know, communicating to them, they all understand. As Karina said, everybody I've spoken to is very understandable. You know, we're just trying to put a plan in place for each individual vendor, cutting anything that we could cut. You know, one of my number one things was football packages and basketball packages and stuff. I mean, DirecTV cost me upwards of $2,000 to $3,000 a month. So the first thing I did was call them and said, stop everything. So, you know, just finding things that were essential to keep open and things that aren't essential when you're staying open was the biggest thing. You know, line by line on your profit and loss statement, trying to figure out where you could get skinny. And as Philip said earlier, cash is king right now. So, I mean, the moment you run out is when it gets extremely difficult because everybody's running out. And, you know, including the people that are purchasing the food and keeping us open. And, you know, I just want to put a big shout out just to the folks of St. Johns County. I mean, they have been wonderful in supporting a lot of the small businesses and local eateries and any essential place that's open. So, and they're, it seems like everybody's keeping his optimism, you know, their optimism, it's high, being optimistic about the future, and hopefully we can get through this quickly and get back to, you know, whatever the new normal is or business as usual. I know it'll be slow, but maybe we can get it back faster. But that's kind of what we did at Bogies.
Very good. Thank you very much. And Anna.
And I want to also say that I am very thankful that our hotel and our restaurant, we have not laid off anyone. I mean, our again, so thankful that our owners are committed to, as all of these other panelists are committed to, the staff first and foremost, making sure that they're safe, but also making sure that their hours are not affected. I mean, luckily we have, if there's not enough work for them, there's a lot of training for them. They're also doing renovations on the restaurant and doing a lot of maintenance in the hotel that maybe we did not have the time to do. So I'm very thankful for that. But some of the tips and advice for fellow businesses, I would say from a hotel and a restaurant perspective is social media is king. You have to find creative ways to get in front of your audience on a regular basis. And I really have to give some kudos to Karina and Traska, because they have done an excellent job in their social media and getting out there. So that's huge kudos. We've also placed a lot of ads and articles in the paper in order to make sure that our new things that we're doing are getting out in the community. And another thing is just to give back if you can. I know a lot of businesses have really come together and giving back in the community to be able to help. And I am so thankful that our hotel and our restaurant, we're actually going to be next week feeding 60 medical staff at the Mayo Clinic as a thank you for their hard work. So I know that's hard to be able to give back right now when you're struggling, but I think that people will remember that once we're all back up and kicking, that if a business really was able to reach out and help in the community, that will make a huge impression.
Well, very good. You are succeeding at making that impression, and that's a wonderful thing to do.
Good.
I'll come back to you, Anna, for the next question. What are your goals for recovery, and will the adaptations you made be a part of your future business plans?
I would say it's just being staged and ready for when business comes back. I am hopeful, fingers crossed, that when the floodgates open again, that it will come back very quickly. So I think from a hotel perspective, means making sure that you have not dropped your rates too low, keeping them somewhat reasonably priced so that it will be easier for you to get back up to your average daily rate.
Sorry.
Making sure that future rates and packages are in place as well. So now would be the time that if you have some food and beverage and some hotel room packages or any kind of packages, now would be the time to put them in place for late summer and fall, so that, because I'm sure people are looking for deals and they're looking for things that they can book now in anticipation of those hopeful travels that they'll make. But from a restaurant perspective, I agree with some of the other folks, is now's a great time to revamp your menus, to do some physical property improvements to make on the property to make sure that everything is up and in tip-top shape whenever you're open again. And I think that some of the things that we will keep in place is, again, our hotel is great in giving back to the community, our restaurant as well. So I think we will absolutely continue to do that to the extent that we've always done it, and probably more going forward.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Karina, how about you on that? What will you keep in future plans?
Well, first of all, thanks, Anna. I appreciate that with the social media. Sarah and I have been working super hard in, staying in front of the community, and I think that's key. We're very community driven, as all of us in this, room, Derek as well. We're both, that is our really how we have developed our businesses. For sure, we will be continuing some of the things that we're implementing now for the future. Again, as I was saying before, it's the learning that we've done right now. So we are going to continue with focused deliveries in communities. That has been very successful. Another thing that we adopted, kind of going back to what Anna was saying, was adopt a First Coast Hero program where any of our customers can donate, and 100% of that will go to feeding any of our heroes in the community. So we started that about a week and a half ago, and we've already donated $2,500 in lunch boxes from Baptist Beaches to Baptist South to we're doing Mayo on Saturday as well. So many of these ideas we will happily keep. It's just trying to implement them in the day-to-day business. I am being optimistic, but I am hoping by June 1st that we should be back day-to-day, but we will see.
Well, that's great to hear. We all hope we're there by that time. Derek, how about your goals and adaptations that you'll keep?
Well, I think that the social media has been a big part. You know, we've had a lot of fun with it, trying to, you know, create some sort of buzz daily. You know, I know originally we were giving away, and we still are giving away, a free roll of toilet paper with every order that goes out, and you know, making little deals like, you know, Taco Tuesday with a Corona to go, or Coke or soda if someone doesn't want alcoholic beverages. But I think using those going forward, or you know, I don't know, we used our social media somewhat. I don't know if we use it to the extent that we're using it currently, and I can see that that is a big part of our future. Also, you know, giving back to the community. We've always tried to do that, and, you know, giving back to the schools and different local organizations that Bogies has been a part of since, you know, since I've been around. And just moving forward, using this time to train, using this time to make our place look better, the physical plant, so that when we open up, we look nice and fresh and ready to go, not the other way. I'm hoping, you know, Karina, I'm hoping, you're saying June 1st. I'm hoping that maybe in the next couple of weeks, maybe we can even get back to where we're, you know, the social spacing, as far as, you know, maybe half the, you know, a lot of guests are allowed in the restaurant. You know, like when we were stepping down, going from full to 50% to nobody at the bar, to maybe slowly, weekly, we can start going back the other direction. Because I know there's a lot of our regulars that are, you know, it's almost like they drive by and go, oh my gosh, I wish I could come back in there. I wish I could come in there. Or else they come in and pick up food, and, you know, as part of their daily activities. And, you know, I'm looking so forward to getting back to some sort of normalcy, as anyone is. So, but I'm hoping for good news today. I'm hoping for good news on Monday, and, you know, take it day by day, and try to keep, you know, stay in constant contact with your staff. Try to keep people, you know, keep their spirits lifted, and knowing that we will come out on the other side. And, you know, we're Americans. You know, we've been through things like this. Nothing to this extent, but I think on the other side of this, I think there's good things to come. So I'm optimistic about it.
For sure. Thank you. Great stuff there. And Philip, goals for recovery, and what adaptations will you keep?
Well, you know, the first goal obviously is would love to hire our staff back as quickly as possible. A lot of that's going to be a function of, you know, how quickly, you know, business resumes to normal, and I guess what that new normal looks like. We're going to be working with the city, I think other attractions, you know, other authorities around the state, to try and get their insight as to how we can develop the safest tour that's going to allow our customers to feel comfortable, you know, and then adapt those to best practices. So that's kind of one of the first things we're going to be doing. You know, in the meanwhile, we're going to be focusing a lot more on e-commerce and online sales. Unfortunately, Florida has these archaic laws that prevent distilleries from being able to sell their product direct to consumer. Where the winery can take their wine and ship it straight to somebody's home, and they can get a nice case of, you know, Charles's Great Red, or, you know, other states can actually ship into Florida. We're still fighting some forces that don't want those laws to change. So we're going to work aggressively with both the legislature and the governor's office and the Department of Business and Professional Regulations to hopefully get them to loosen some of those laws, because I think it's going to be a while before people are comfortable getting back into, you know, crowded spaces. And the best way for us to be able to, you know, continue our business is going to be able to have the rights and the same privileges as other business to be able to take orders online and then ship. So that's going to be a big focus for us. So those really are kind of the areas that we're working on. You know, we absolutely want to, you know, continue to maintain and engage the great, you know, relationships that we have with our business partners throughout the city. And as I think someone mentioned, give back. We, you know, one of the things I love about our company is that we've been able to really support several important things in the city, including the Sing Out Loud Festival. We've been a sponsor for 2 years. We're hopefully going to be able to afford it again this year, and help the amphitheater get back on its feet. And then a number of, local cultural nonprofits. So we want to be able to continue to do that. But the first thing we got to do is, get business back to normal. And I think half the challenge for all of us is going to be, what does that new normal look like? But those are our goals for recovery. I will adapt.
Great. There's a lot on that list there. So, we're all staying busy when we get back to that normal. So, Philip, I'll stay with you for the last topic, and then we'll go to questions and address that as time allows. What have you learned from this experience?
Wow, that's an incredible. Where do you want me to begin? Yeah, I think more than anything else, I've learned that we have to be flexible. That we have to. I've gained such a sense of appreciation of how easy we had it, and how certain things that we never expected that would happen were literally overnight. We went from thousands of people, tens of thousands of people walking downtown to literally zero. And, what I've learned is that, you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to be patient. You have to believe in your company, which we do. We love our staff. They do a great job, and just think through what's needed in the moment. To be able to, continue to do business and, more than anything else, communicate, with your employees. They are, to us, we always treat them as our most important customers. And by being able to take care of them and help them through this personally has been an important thing for us. But, more than anything else, it's just, working hard, adapting, reinventing what you do, and just be prepared, because this is not going to change. Things are going to absolutely continue to evolve. And I think as long as we all keep an open mind, we continue trusting in one another, we continue doing good business together, we're going to be fine. And so that, I guess that's what I've learned.
Thank you. That's great stuff there, Philip. Thank you very much. Karina, same for you.
Well, I guess what I've learned most about this experience is that that we are going to move forward with a whole different business concept that we've been wanting to implement for a while, and now we've had the time to do it. So, the patience for change and being humble to your customers right now is first another area that we've just learned to grow upon, because as we try these new ventures, we do make mistakes, and we just explain to our customers that hey, we are trying to get through this as much as you are right now, and everybody is so thankful and has a lot of grace towards us right now. So just working so closely with our customers in a different manner is something that I've learned even further than what we were doing before. And, we have learned also what systems need to be better, like our online systems need to be better. Our online ordering needs to be better. Because we're finding now that we're using these more, then we need to have them be the most effective. So those are some of the things that I've learned really in the past 2 weeks. And other than to comment on Derek's on having the locals come back, I know one of those locals that happens to be my husband is ready to come back. And I'm ready for him to come back too. So. Anyway, thank you so much, guys.
Very good. And Derek, how about you?
I wrote down a note yesterday when we were looking at this. It was like, never say never. I mean, who could have expected this to happen to the magnitude that it has? It's just been crazy, and how quickly it happened. I mean, here, on a Thursday afternoon, we're sitting at the TPC watching golf, and by 3 p.m, they say it's canceled the next day, and you're going, oh my gosh, what's going on? Then the next day, everything starts going crazy. Then those next 7 days following was just a blur because it was happening so rapidly. So, I think putting, some in the future, putting things in place, because, something like this could happen again. And my God, we're not out of the one that we're in right now. So, as Karina said, putting some systems in place to safeguard you against this happening in the future. Because cash is king, having a surplus of, maybe it's a rainy day fund or what have you that is there to protect you, to get through times like this, because first and foremost, my staff is so important to me. I've had folks that have been on my staff for over a decade, and, and getting to know their families and stuff, and seeing them hurt through this time is, it's very difficult, and we're just trying and getting to know like the people in the community, which and all of us do in our Ponte Vedra is such a small community, as is St. Augustine, but you get to know everybody, and they're all like family to you, and you're watching people go through this terrible time together, and boy, they are coming together. And I think that my hope is that we come out of this on the other side stronger, looking at things differently from every aspect of your business, from a cleanliness standpoint, to a training standpoint, to just become bigger and better if you can in your community.
Right. Well, great thoughts. Thank you for sharing that. Anna, what have you learned?
I would say just finding more ways to be creative and innovative, and that would go for Hilton Garden Inn, but also for Mulligan's Pub. It's amazing how much social media I've been training. I'm doing just to kind of get myself up to speed on social media, because again, you have to stay connected to your audience, but also from working remotely, making sure that your teams have the tools that they need to be able to work remotely. Me and my sales team are all working remotely, and luckily we were able to quickly kind of turn that around. But I think a lot of companies maybe struggled to get those people up and working again. But I think there will be a lot of businesses and systems that are created, I think like Derek said, out of this, so that we all can work remotely. I'm sure that all kinds of companies will be created. And but again, I think it's just being creative, being supportive of each other, being real, and just again, from a hotel's perspective, providing that safe haven out in the community. So.
Right. And the relationships we built over the years are, you see now how important that is. It's amazing Huge. What a difference that makes on all fronts. Kathy, I think we have some questions.
Yes, we do have some questions. Would you like me to read them out loud?
Sure.
Okay, so I have one here for Derek.
Okay.
You know what, we might send that to you separately. So let's go to the next question. This one is from the Distillery. Where can consumers order the hand sanitizer from the Distillery? Is it on your website?
Yeah, so what's happening is, thanks for the question. If you are on Facebook, today at noon, we're going to be launching a link that will go straight to our e-commerce site, Shopify. And that's going to be able to allow people to order. We've got two different options. One is an 8-pack, and the other is 30 bottles. So if you have a larger family, or if you have a small business, the 30-pack is really convenient. We're charging $3 a bottle. It's a 2-ounce spray pump bottle. It's really, really convenient. It lasts forever. And then there's just a very, just pass-through costs on shipping and handling beyond that. But we're hoping today to turn that live at noon. So just please check our Facebook page. Or you can also, if anybody wants to write it down, it's stogsanitizer.com. So just stogsanitizer.com, and that will also get you there.
Great, thank you.
The next question we have is, will you offer special incentives to be used when things improve for customers who have been loyal to you throughout this time? So this is a general question to the panel. Thinking about people who have been visiting with you throughout this crisis, are you going to do anything special for them, when things open up again?
Who would like to take that one?
Can I answer that one?
Sure, Anna.
We have definitely been doing that. We just realtors, for example, we have been trying to reach out to the realtors that have been using us before and brainstorming with them on how we can help them continue to show homes, whether it's, you know, virtually, but just to being able to see how we, from maybe a restaurant or a catering perspective, of how we can help them get the people to the homes to look at the homes so that they can continue to be successful and hopefully sell homes. So we're trying to do that.
Great. Philip or Karina? Philip, are you going to continue your couple of Coronas with the taco to go thing?
Me, Derek?
Derek, I'm sorry. I went to Philip.
I think
I was looking at him and going to you. Derek.
I think all those specials are a lot of fun. So, yeah, I mean, we try to do stuff like that currently, but I think we're going to do it a lot more and expand on it, especially on the delivery service. But then again, I don't know, when we go back to normal, that what we're able to do now will probably change back to what it was before. As Philip said, you know, some people can get stuff delivered, but unfortunately restaurants typically can't package stuff to go. So, so we'll have to see what the new rules and what the new norm looks like after we get back open.
Okay. Karina or Philip, did you have anything to add on that question? Deals afterwards?
No, but it's provoking thought. You know, I just haven't gotten that far yet. I'm still working on today.
Yeah. People are thinking ahead, right?
Yeah.
I had a massive delivery yesterday that I have to really tweak in and how I'm going to do it, because I can't do another day like yesterday. So, but you know, it's a really good provoking question of what we can do for the customers, because I do have some very, very loyal customers that have been, you know, coming in and ordering online and picking up. So, a good question to be thinking about for the next couple of weeks to see how we can be thankful for them.
Well, thank you very much. Philip, did you have anything to add there? You good?
Just real quickly. I mean, I think for us, what we want to do is obviously we're so blessed with an incredible fan base and people who truly have supported the distillery since opening. It's hard to believe it's been 6 years, but for sure we will, you know, support them in, you know, a variety of promotions and programming. We usually have specials all the time. My sense is that we're going to continue to be in the hand sanitizer business for a period of time. So I could easily see something like a free sanitizer, you know, with any spirit purchase, or, you know, perhaps we're actually in the process right now of developing and designing a branded face mask that might be kind of fun. So if you can imagine a face mask with a barrel on it or something cool, so we'll probably be giving those away, you know, with a purchase. But we're going to try and be very sensitive to, you know, maintaining the safety aspect of the tour and keeping our guests and friends and family, really, we look at our customers as that, as safe as possible. And, you know, hopefully until a vaccine is created, which hopefully will happen soon, you know, we're also going to need to be vigilant, but it'll probably be, the promotions will probably be along those lines to help them, you know, balance, you know, enjoying a great cocktail and staying safe at the same time.
Great. I love the face mask. If you could start like right now, you'd sort of corner the market. They're a little bit hard to get. So sooner the better. Okay, Kathy, more questions?
Yes, we do. The next question is, we don't have the ability to do curbside or delivery business. Our revenue is either on or off. At the very first hint of the virus, our phone began ringing with people canceling pre-booked tours for this particular business. Maybe we'll come back. Sorry, if I'm just scrolling.
We can't hear you.
I'm sorry, maybe.
Sorry. Hard to hear there. Can you maybe start over?
Sure. This particular business is a boat tour business, and they just simply said they don't have the ability to do curbside or delivery. So when this started, all of their pre-booked reservations had canceled. This is a little bit more of a comment, but maybe there is some feedback we can get from the panel on the fact that their business just pretty much came to a close. You know, so when things open again, when people are traveling and touring again, you know, perhaps in the next season, things will pick up.
Right, and I will interject that we, the Visitors and Convention Bureau, have a partner recovery toolkit that has all sorts of things that businesses can use to help get business back and get through the time before then. So my contact information is on the screen there. If they haven't seen that, I'll be glad to share it with them, whether they're partners of ours or not. So that's just a thought, but there's a lot of information out there to try to help people get through. We know it's a very difficult time.
So our next question is about when reopening, as we phase in reopening, are you doing temperature checks on your staff? I think that might be, are you doing that currently? Will you be testing your staff? And specifically with the requirements for reopening, you know, what are your plans with that as reopening happens?
Boy, that is a great question. Anybody want to raise their hand there?
Yeah, we have a thermometer at work. We can hit them right on the forehead every day. Make sure that they're good.
Right as they come in.
And you have to ask them daily too. I mean, how you feeling? What's going on? Please call if you're not feeling well, so we know immediately. So
great. And Anna, you too?
Absolutely. They don't, you know, they get about 2 feet in the door and we have to take their temperature, or they're taking their own temperature and we're keeping it on a log. So, yep.
That's great. All right. Philip, about the distillery?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Okay, cool. All right. Karina too, yeah. All right.
Yeah, and I think it's so important that, you know, having that open communication with your employees in regards to, even if they were with somebody, I asked all my employees, are you just going home or are you going out? Some of them, you know, they're young. So they want to go out, you know, not even if there's not a place to go out, but they hang out with their friends and stuff. So most of my staff, you know, they're basically just going home and here. And then I wanted to comment a little bit about the gentleman who had the boat business, because you know, I think when you own your own business, you wear many hats, you know, as we all know. We have all different hats that we're wearing to give hope, to utilize this time to maybe work on the business plan for next year, on seeing how they can increase their business, because you never have enough time to do that. So it just try to keep busy and having a new idea in place so that when they do open up, because they can't be open right now, there hopefully will be a growth in their business due to it.
Mm-hmm. Great point. Great point. Kathy, more questions?
We do. We have two that are very similar, but I think the general idea is, do you see opportunities to partner with other businesses as part of the new normal? And if so, how would that look? So as an example, one person wrote, you know, perhaps offer a dinner and a tour. So a distillery tour and a cruise or something along those lines, where we're working together in the community as business owners and business leaders to partner together to offer or provide new offerings to customers.
Okay, who would like to raise their hand for that one?
This is Philip. I'll be happy to jump on. You know, we obviously have a great working relationship with a lot of the other attractions and also the hotels and restaurants. So I'm very excited to think about how we can cross promote, you know, particularly in historic St. Augustine. You know, when the guest comes here, oftentimes your best source of referral is going to be, you know, with another engagement that guest or tourist would have here. In some cases, it's a restaurant or bar. In some cases, the hotel or another attraction. So I'm very excited to work with both the Attractions Association and certainly the VCB to come up with some cool cross promotions to help, you know, reignite, you know, tourism in a whole new way. I think it's going to be exciting, and I'm looking forward to it.
Great thought. Anyone else care to comment on that? Okay, we'll go to the next one, Kathy.
I think we are out of questions at the moment. I think we've answered them all. We can just hold for a moment. If anyone has any final questions, they can go ahead and use the chat or the Q&A, and we'll see them there. Okay. While we wait for just a moment, I'm just going to make one quick comment. Thank you all for bearing with us as we launched the poll twice today. It was the first time that we've used the poll, and I clicked end poll a little too soon. So we're going to try to collect the responses, and we can share those as we do a follow-up later on. Okay, I have no other questions at the moment. Do we want to just let the panelists say a few final words before we close out?
Sure. So I just say that there's always going to be the bright side to this event. Learn of what you are going to take from this and put it in place. There will be, we will get back to our new normal, which I believe it's really going to be a new normal for all of us. But the new normal here at Trosca will be something new for sure. We will, we're looking at reinventing ourselves. We just had our 5th year anniversary. So we want to continue and continue to be part of our community and serving our community. So thank you very much for having us today.
This is Philip down in St. Augustine. I want to thank the panelists today and obviously William and Kathy and everybody at the Chamber for putting this together and for all at home who are listening and tuning in. It's been almost surreal is the only way I can describe this, but the thing I'm most encouraged about is, you know, so many great people in the community have come forward to help on so many different levels. And I think, you know, the quality of what makes St. Johns County's business community so special and so strong is our willingness to rise to, you know, the occasion. And I'm just grateful to, you know, all the businesses, certainly, you know, Mr. Conrad at the county and all of his staff, and certainly John Regan at the city for all that they've done. Really great work there trying to help us, you know, evolve and come out. The big challenge obviously is going to be, when is it safe to come out and play? And that's the one we're all wrestling with right now. But, you know, I'm just grateful to everybody out there. And just leave a little sort of commercial shameless plug. If anybody is out there and they have a business that needs any sort of this hand sanitizers for their employees or their guests, you know, please reach out to me directly, or you can go, as I said, to the St. Aug sanitizer.com little website, and you can, you know, find out how to order there. But be happy to, you know, help anybody in the community however they need. But thank you, William and Kathy, for putting this together, and I hope everybody, you know, stays safe and we come out of this quickly soon.
I just want to say one thing as well, as I'm also very thankful for the Chamber's support of our businesses, Hilton Garden Inn, Mulligan's Pub, and we also have the catering Sawgrass Events. But I appreciate all of that support, and I think it's important for us to be positive. Like all of y'all are very positive, and I think it rolls down to your staff as well. So as somebody would quote, this too shall pass, and we will come ahead in the once it's all done. So I appreciate all of y'all very much.
Yeah. Well, thank you to everybody at the Chamber for putting this event together, and thank you for the panelists, and look forward to seeing you guys in the community here shortly. So let's stay optimistic and hope that we get by this as soon as possible. And thanks everybody, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Before we close today, I just wanted to ask everyone, really encourage everyone in the audience, all of our small business owners, to complete the Florida Disaster Assessment Survey online. This is available at floridadisaster.biz, and it's important because the information that's collected through this survey that is less than 5 minutes to complete, it assists our state officials as well as our local officials in determining the damage that's been done during this crisis. It's definitely going to help us locally inform efforts towards recovery. I I also would invite you to visit the Chamber's website at www.sjcchamber.com. And of course, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram, where we're sharing information and resources to assist you, our members, and businesses locally through the crisis and into recovery. On behalf of the Chamber's Tourism and Hospitality Council, I would like to thank our moderator, William McBroom of the St. Augustine, Ponte Vedra, and the Beaches Convention and Visitors Bureau, and each of our panelists, Philip McDaniel of the St. Augustine Distillery, Anna Washington of the Hilton Garden Inn, Ponte Vedra, Derek Prince of Bogey Grill, and Karina Curiel of Trask & Co. for their sharing their experiences today and all of their advice and tips as well. Today's discussion has been recorded, and the recording will be uploaded to our website so you can play it back at a later date. Thank you to all of our Chamber members and guests for your participation today. We wish you health and stay safe and informed. Thank you.